As a leader, how do you lead through a reorg?
Um, I think the few things that come to mind to me are, one is obviously, stay calm and be present. Understand what is going on. You can ask your questions from your manager who probably initiated this reorg, right? And try and get a sense of, why have they done it, the purpose, the goals, things like that. And then I think the key here for me is being proactive with your team without, like, what I would like to do is I set up like a team meeting immediately after the reorg announcement and say, okay, hey guys, this happened. Here's why they did it to the best of your ability. And this is the right thing to do for the company right now, like all the things you mentioned, right? And now we are better positioned to deliver on these outcomes, perhaps, and create like a safe space for them to ask questions, right? Um, so I like being proactive, over communicate, and then check in. I think for me individually, like on these one-on-ones, how do you feel about this reorg? Anything I can any questions you have, things like that. Just being there for your team. What
Yeah,
do you think?
that's an interesting point. I just recall my, one of the best leaders I worked with.
Hmm.
When these kind of reorgs happen, he just booked a time with me, right? 30 minutes, and the title said reorg, something I can't remember. And
Yeah.
when I went into the meeting, he said, "No, I have no agenda. I just set this up to answer your questions. I wanted to
Mhm.
hear how you feel about this reorg." So I thought that was very nice, and that's
Mm.
that's exactly what you're talking about. It's basically making yourself present to, I mean, it benefits you too, right? We can understand as a middle manager what they are saying about this reorg, and you can share
Yeah.
yours. So I think that's a very good point.
Yeah, I think there is, you just want to be there, be able to answer the questions, and personally try and get answers to yourself, for yourself as well, so that you can communicate that with the team. And I think the more the team knows, the better they will feel, because usually when the reorg is announced, they have so many questions and this uncertainty and anxiety and all that stuff. If you can just quickly be able to provide answers as to why, or even just say, hey, this I don't know, let me find out and get back to you, is still good enough, right? They feel that, okay, someone's working for them and this is going to be okay.
Yeah, and the last thing I want to say about that is, once you have a good understanding as to why this is happening, even if you personally think it's a bad move, as a middle manager, we need to deliver it in a good package, right?
Yes.
Then you
Yes.
say, this makes sense. This is actually a great thing for us, and why it is a good thing. That's the best we can do, because otherwise, we'll have to face people leaving the organization. That's not always good.
Gosh, that has happened to me. Once there was a reorg announced, and I was completely against it. I could not understand why, right? Why these some teams are put together. It didn't make any logical sense to me. But to your point, I had to say, this is the right thing to do. And this is the way it works. And guess what? I think 1 year later, there was another reorg.
Very familiar with that. Yeah.